This is the most feared predator in the water. Nothing hunts him, nothing except what's already inside him. Right now, deep inside his lungs, something is feeding. Meet the pentastomid. Scientists call it a tongue worm. It isn't a worm at all, and it isn't looking for food on the outside. It has 4 hooked limbs around its mouth built for one purpose: gripping tissue and never letting go. Its target is the crocodile's lungs and trachea, the airway of an animal that can hold its breath for over an hour. Once attached, it doesn't chew through flesh. It drinks, slowly drawing blood and tissue fluid from the crocodile's own airway. In most cases, the crocodile barely notices. Studies show many infections cause no visible symptoms at all. But there isn't just one enemy. At least 6 genera of these parasites, Sebeckia, Alophia, Liparia among them, specialize in crocodilians alone. Fossil evidence suggests this relationship isn't new. Pentastomids may have been shadowing crocodile-like ancestors for tens of millions of years. And it isn't limited to one species. From Nile crocodiles to American alligators to caimans, researchers have found these parasites across nearly every crocodilian on Earth, which raises the real question. To reach the lungs of an apex predator, how do you even get in? The answer starts somewhere unexpected, inside a fish. The crocodile sheds pentastomid eggs in its feces. Those eggs drift into the water, and fish swallow them without knowing it. Inside the fish, the larva doesn't stay idle. It migrates through tissue, waiting for its true destination to arrive. And that destination always arrives. Fish are exactly what crocodiles hunt. The moment the crocodile eats an infected fish, the parasite completes a journey it was built for, into the one host it actually needs. From the crocodile's stomach, the larvae migrate again through the body toward the lungs, where they'll finally mature. Fish aren't the only carriers either. Researchers have identified other aquatic species that can shelter these larvae before the final host arrives. In the right conditions, the larva can simply wait dormant inside an intermediate host for months, sometimes longer, until the right predator finally passes by. For an adult crocodile, this cycle is usually just background noise, but for a hatchling, it can be something else entirely. Young crocodilians carry a risk their parents don't. Researchers have recorded infection rates near 93% in some alligator populations studied. In severe cases, the parasite causes real tissue damage at the site where it attaches inside the lung. Enough damage in a small enough body can be fatal. Alligator deaths have been directly linked to these infections. It's a brutal asymmetry. The same parasite that an adult crocodile shrugs off can be lethal to its own offspring, which means the fiercest reptilian mother on the riverbank can guard her young from every visible threat and still lose them to something she'll never see. Scientists studying crocodile populations use this exact vulnerability to track parasite prevalence in the wild. Some researchers even use parasite loads like this as an early warning sign, a way to read the health of an entire wetland, not just one animal. Infection rates aren't fixed either. Wild populations and protected or managed populations have shown noticeably different numbers in various studies. For millions of years, this arms race has run quietly beneath the surface. No crocodile has ever fully won. But the crocodile isn't defenseless. It's known for something almost unheard of in the animal kingdom: wounds that barely ever get infected. Laboratory studies suggest crocodilian blood contains powerful compounds capable of destroying a wide range of bacteria on contact. It's part of why crocodiles can fight each other in filthy water and walk away unscathed, while the same wound would kill most other animals. But that defense has a limit. It's built to fight bacteria and microbes, not a multicellular parasite already lodged inside a lung. Once a pentastomid settles in, it usually stays for life. The crocodile's body doesn't remove it. It learns to live around it. In some cases, the body walls it off entirely, a small scar of tissue built around the invader, containing it rather than destroying it. It's not a war the crocodile wins outright, it's survival math. Tolerate a manageable cost and keep everything else running. But that math only works with size and time on your side. A body that's spent decades building reserves can afford to carry a passenger. A hatchling can't. Which means even the toughest immune system on the riverbank isn't fighting one battle. It's fighting a version of the same war every apex predator faces. Because the crocodile isn't alone in this. Almost every apex predator on Earth is fighting an enemy it never sees. Lions, the rulers of the savannah, are regularly found carrying lungworms and tapeworms, parasites that settle in quietly and rarely announce themselves. Out in the ocean, even great white sharks aren't exempt. Researchers have documented parasitic copepods attached to their skin, gills, and eyes. Orcas, the ocean's top predator, with no natural enemy of their own, still carry internal parasites recorded in multiple wild populations. There's a pattern here. The bigger and longer-lived the predator, the more chances something smaller has had to move in. And just like the crocodile, most of these infections don't threaten a healthy adult. The real cost usually falls on the young, the weak, or the already struggling. Some biologists estimate that parasitic species may actually outnumber every other type of life on the planet combined, which means the food chain we grew up picturing, predator on top, everything else below, was never the full picture. Every one of these giants has its own version of this story, and we're only just beginning to understand most of them. We call the crocodile an apex predator, as if that title made it untouchable. But apex only means nothing hunts it from the outside. It says nothing about what waits within. Every predator, no matter how fearsome, is also a habitat, a world for something smaller. Maybe strength was never about being untouched. Maybe it was always about what you can carry and keep going anyway. Real resilience isn't the absence of a threat. It's what's left standing after the threat has already moved in. Crocodilians have survived almost unchanged for over 200 million years, not by staying untouched, but by outlasting everything that ever touched them. In nature, there's no such thing as invincible. There's only the next scale you haven't looked at yet. Zoom out far enough, and every apex predator on this planet is really just one layer in a much bigger, much quieter story. And somewhere in that story, something smaller is always waiting for its turn. So the next time something looks untouchable, ask what it's already carrying. If this rewired how you see the world's most feared predator, subscribe. The animal kingdom has more rivalries like this one. Every apex predator we mention today, the lion, the shark, the orca, has its own hidden war. We're telling those stories next. Predator's Gambit. Every survival story is a strategy.